All right, I'm calling the Village of Cross Plains Finance Advisory and Enhancement Committee of November 6th, 2024 to order. Roll call, please.
Tim Hillebrand.
Here.
Dave Micklig.
Here.
Jed Henry.
Here.
Michael Palmakowski.
Here.
And Jay Langfeld.
Here. All right. Public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Finance Advisory and Enhancement Committee. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes while the Finance Advisory and Enhancement Committee encourages input from residents that may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. It doesn't look like we have anybody. Let's go to reports. Committee chairperson, I have nothing that's not on. Nothing. Anybody else?
No.
All right, thank you. Finance director.
The village board passed the 2025 budget at their meeting last week. I think went about as good as it could go. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. So tax bills are currently being calculated at the county. Hopefully they'll be out in the mail next week.
And we got our Christmas present.
Yeah.
From the village. All righty, thank you. General business, discussion and possible approval of the November 6, 2024 Finance Advisory Enhancement Committee minutes. Do I have a motion? Second. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So moved. Number 2, discussion and possible action regarding review of purchases and policy bid tabulation forms, if any. So that was attached. Any questions on monthly expenses?
No, I don't have any questions. I just emailed you about some invoices I just want to check out, but it's nothing.
You emailed me.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because I didn't see them.
It's just, but it's nothing. It's just my curiosity. We don't have to look at them. If we don't want to.
I can send them to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can check these out, see what's on.
Okay, curious, were there anything in particular that jumped out or when they jumped out or?
Oh, yeah, I was kind of curious because like in 1901, it's the library's like heating company. Like there's $8,000 in maintenance for the library heater. So
Every year.
yeah, I was kind of like, how do you get to $8,000 on a maintenance charge? I just kind of wanted to see what they billed for, like if they replaced the motor or like what they did, like just like how do you get to $8,000? You know, because it was literally it was 2 separate bills, so it might even been 2 separate service calls. So just curious about that.
There's a TAPCO one.
There's a TAPCO one.
Your normal.
Yeah,
ones to
like
pick up.
MG&E monthly ones. I always get the monthly MG&E spreadsheet. Those expensive. The new street signs that Jerry ordered. I missed that when you sent out the first one. I was looking through because I thought it was a copy of the village board one from last week and it wasn't on there. But this one was like 1 extra page as additional from the village board bills. That one, and then there was some other stuff.
What is TAPCO? I don't even know what that
They
is.
were signs.
It's the street.
Oh,
It's the company.
the name and ring a bell. I just couldn't put it.
Yeah, these are like the signs of the order.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I was just curious on that one to actually see like what was actually charged versus the quotes that the guy gave me like 2 months ago. Like how much do they line up or you know, we're close. And that's
Yeah.
I wanted to see that. Well, that was like good. And there was a PKK lighting thing in here, this light bulb. I was curious what the 2 was. That was it. That was all that really jumped out. There was actually something else on here that I wasn't sure of if I noticed it, I didn't. It's just a question. Inside of the Cross Plains water and sewer utility bill that gets billed to the village, well 2 and well 3. Is that the new?
Those are brand new, yeah.
Okay, I've never seen those
Yep.
before. Why are we?
I actually asked Jerry Gray about this. Cause I'm like, why are we all of a sudden having the wells having to pay for water?
Yeah.
And it's
It's like $10,000. Third one. One of the bills.
So well one doesn't have it, but it's a new thing when they come into compliance with the DNR. It's something about lubricating something. They have to run water. So now the wells actually use water.
So they're putting it, is it a water bill or is it a sewer, or is it both? Like, does the water go back into the sewer system? I mean, it must.
Yeah. Yeah,
So it actually has its own separate
meter,
in
yep,
there now.
yep.
So, is it new? Okay, yeah.
Well, the meter is, in all places, just does water. We don't measure sewer.
Measure the sewer.
You get the build on the use of
Yeah.
water, right?
Right, exactly. So that's like where I was just at. I mean, but it's like, if you're building, you can't just build the water, because the water's like shooting outside the well house. It's getting, so there's actually a sewer line to the wells now that the water's going.
I'd have to check with Jerry, but I did ask.
She says it's some new lubrication.
It's some requirement that they.
Why would we, when we flush, the fire hydrants, we're just flushing water down, we're not paying sewer for them, because sewer is pretty expensive, why are we sending clean water to the sewer
I
plant?
might be picking up some, if it's going through a lubricating, or it might be picking up.
Lubrication would be on the outside, you wouldn't lubricate inside.
Well, I don't know, but
That's the word he used, was the lubricating.
Water, or is there water and sewer charge 10,000?
So the sewer gets charged if it goes down a drain.
Right, but he's at, the bill that we're getting from these well 2 and 3, is it a sewer rate one, or is it just a water rate?
I can double check, it's, I think both though.
We could apply for the.
So like this $10,000, like these first bills are for more than 1 month.
Well, that's what.
Yeah, so that's like a catch-up one.
Right, but later on, there was another one, it's on page 18, where it's both well 2 and well 3, like 790, and like almost $1,200. It's on page 18. Okay.
I got my page numbers there. Right there. Yeah, so their well 3 goes down to, it's $800.
Right, 800, and well 3 was 1,200, because I was looking, because I look at the bills and I'm going through and I'm like, that looks like that's new, like I was in, and so they are new.
They are new, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we gotta figure that out. Doesn't make any sense to me.
That's what I thought too, that's why I called Jerry and asked
We're
him.
putting, water costs into our levy limit dollars instead of into the water.
No, the water pays it.
No,
The water utility pays the water utility.
yeah, that's basically what it's doing,
Yeah,
it's being billed out of the water utility, because it's $660, that's the water utility.
Yeah.
So the water utility is paying the bill.
To itself.
yeah.
But it's probably paying some to the sewer utility, if that's water and sewer. The water utility is paying for its water usage, but probably the majority of that bill is going to the sewer department to pay for the processing of the water, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're
I
saying.
think you're saying that why are we?
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand. Yeah, why, I'm just trying to understand why we send it to sewer.
I don't know.
To me, that's gonna really show up, and that's one of our concerns with sewer anyways, we're paying too much water in there and not, it's too diluted or whatever.
Well, it must have to be treated, because like, isn't the pool on an irrigation meter now? Because
No,
or I mean, some of it is like, I mean, obviously the bathroom stuff goes, but when they fill the pool, like, is that
They,
considered?
they filled it at the end of the season and at the beginning, they fill it with the fire hydrant. Now, I don't know if they put I saw them doing that today, well, not today, but this last week. When I was walking, they were filling the pool up, and there was a hose from the fire hydrant to the pool.
Oh, well, then whatever they.
It was not metered at all, or was there a meter?
no, it's metered, so we just, adjust the sewer costs out of their bill.
Yeah, I thought there was something like a long time ago, like you guys changed the filling from, you don't charge the sewer fee when you fill it. Something, I don't know, I thought it was like when Caitlin was here, I did something.
We do adjust the sewer portion of the pool's bill.
Right, because when you empty it, you don't send it to the street.
No, it's
Like,
sent to the street.
It just goes to the street.
Yeah, so we just,
Well,
they pay for some sewer, what we estimate gets used in like the showers and the bathrooms.
Yeah.
And like during the year, but during the year, like if they have to refill it, I mean, when it comes out of the gutters, does some of that get sent to the treatment plant, or does it get cleaned and put back in? Like the
Well,
gutters.
pool usually goes through
Because
filters.
Goes through a filter, then it
Yeah.
just goes back, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, the pool leaks and then evaporates,
Right.
flashing, and
Right, yeah.
it is using more water to fill it during the day, every day.
Well, sure. Well, that was, I guess, like what you say, you adjust it because like that water that evaporates, like that isn't getting sent to the
Right.
treatment. So you kind of like adjust that
Yeah.
down. Not not all the water that goes in, some leaks through, some you kind of do some, okay, I thought you were doing something. Okay, I mean,
That's interesting. I guess I'm gonna look into it, kind of figure that out.
Because we asked for a rate reduction because the water was doing so well, right?
No, that was, sewer.
Oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, water went up 42% because of the well.
wells.
Wells,
Yeah.
yeah, the well and the updates, yeah.
We never saw this before, so that isn't that a cost, right? Then
Yeah, it's interesting, and it seems like that's a lot of volume to get to that.
the level of the water rates, yeah.
I mean, think about it, that's a lot of gallons going through there to get to 800.
It's 800 well,
Cause I mean, again, mine's low, mine's 2,500 a month. Usage, you know, how many gallons I pump through, and I'm paying, $90. So 10 times that, that's 25,000 gallons. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, we'll check on it.
Yeah.
It's a good catch though.
Oh, it's just a curiosity.
Yeah, well, no, that's
Not that
good.
you guys need to see our software here.
Can you bring it up, Mom?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that one's labeled even. Okay, that's nice. So yeah, that was 64,000 gallons, their first and only read.
That works well.
That's well 3.
But that,
If it,
but that gives you months.
well, even so, that's a lot. The only thing that I can do if this is the first time is when they started up the well, there's probably so much water you have to send through before you can send it out, into the reservoir, but
I made it sound like very like.
yeah, I know, that's why even if that's the case, it just seems like a high volume.
Yeah, I don't know what it's doing or, some, that's a multiplied DNR thing or something.
Yeah, I don't know what other.
That's a whole lot of water.
And why not well,
What's that?
why not well one as well?
Cause I guess that's old, we didn't update, well,
We didn't update, yeah. It's like a new DNR requirement that this pump or whatever it is.
So if we upgrade well one, then.
We would never
We're not
upgrade.
gonna do that. It's too small of a volume.
We just put it out of
If becomes
service.
too hard, it's too much sand coming. So the plan is eventually just to shut it down.
Yeah, but that needs a lot of maintenance.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we just, with the whole well discussion, when we put in well 3, that was the intent to have 2 wells that could provide water for the village. Because right before that, if well 2 went down, well, we had water for about 3 or 4 days. And then we'd be out. Because well 1 could not keep the reservoir full. All right, well, good to know. All right, so we don't really, there's no action that needs to happen on this. We'll go to 3, discussion and possible action regarding new village hall / police station building. So, just so you know why this has come up and it's gonna be a really tight turnaround. We need to get things moving on this. So one, we want to get the board caught up to date on where we are with the process. So part of that, we want to start looking at the financial piece of it so we can educate the board on that. Also shortly, hopefully in February, we're at the point where we want to have a community meeting to get input on what the outside of the building looks like and maybe some choices of what the community room internal would look like. We're still kind of doing that. But to get the timing right, I've called a special meeting for July 9th to get the board's, January 9th. Yeah, I'm sorry, January 9th. Yeah, we do have one December 19th. Thank you. But it's the January 9th one, because whatever happens from the board, if it's still to move forward with the community meeting, January 15th is when we get the newsletter out, so we can start advertising it. And then we would have it in February at some point, get the community. So that's why it's kind of a tight thing. So for us as this committee, and you kind of see the spreadsheet, those were the areas that I thought we need to get some numbers. So we definitely want to look at what this building is currently, and then just the estimate on what the new building is. Of course, because it's larger, there's going to be more cost to this. So that's the operating part, and that's just to give an idea for us future planning on how much we have to have under the levy limit to cover this stuff. And then the capital, there's two aspects to that, and that is calculating the rate. And what I forgot to put in there is year. So the first one, the USDA, will be 40 years payback. And thank you. And that the market rate one would be 20 years, is the one which we can go. And then the second part of it is taking a look at our debt service to see how much room there is, and then how much added, and then we can calculate how much cost it's going to be to taxpayers and that kind of stuff. So what I'm looking for tonight is people would be volunteering to take a section of this, and then we would report back at our meeting in January, and then Bobby and I could work on a slide or a couple slides for the finance for that, for a PowerPoint in the January 9th meeting. Does that make sense to everybody? And some of these shouldn't, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to do it. So USDA, just look at what they change every quarter. So we're in the fourth quarter here. So that's going to be close enough to use that as a base. And then I'm not sure what, someone will probably have to call one of the banks to see, hey, what would be for a $2 million, what's the going rate for public facility building? I don't know if they have that's different than commercial. I don't know enough about how they do it, but just to get that so we can plug those numbers in.
But wouldn't the market rate one be similar to what we borrow every year?
It could be. The borrowing that happened this year was the bonds. They do them in groups. So was from 3.25 to 4%. When I signed them, they sold. I think for ours it was probably 5 or 6 different offerings. So I don't know enough about that, and that would be but those were 10 years, weren't they? If I remember the ones that
We just borrowed, yeah, we're 10.
Yeah, they were 10. So
Ellers had stuff on their website that.
I've got, there's something on there that'll give you like a support
for construction versus
it's just whatever.
Well,
no matter what you're-
Right, I'll give you what some other people did.
It's just a geo bond.
right. Well, I know you can do it, but investors look at what it's being invested in.
Bond sales, that's what I wanted.
But anyway, that's fine. If someone's willing to do that, if this is the resource to use, then that's what we do, and then just do the calculation. That's fine. I'm just trying to get where we get all involved and we kind of figure it out.
Here's a 20-year one, 3.6.
Okay. Well, there you go. We got that one done tonight then. Go to the USDA sites, find what theirs is for their 40-year.
I think Carly asked them.
Yeah, I know. But we need that,
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
We wanted the 40 year because just the amount as opposed to.
it's cheap. Obviously, it's cheaper payments.
Could we do an analysis over so say if we did a 20-year, how much we're saving in interest and stuff?
You could do that. You could certainly do it. Again, 20 years I'm fine with. I don't mind 40 because the building's gonna be 40 years, so residents that move in 35 years from now, they're gonna pay for part of it. You know, that's how I look at it. You know, like I say, I got into it with the church when we did fellowship hall and paid it off in 3 years. I figured that should have been 20 years. It's not fair to pile it all on current people. Right. So we can do that. That would be another cost analysis, but I think people were looking at, you know, the payments would be lower. And you're right, the interest on it, but you gain a reduced interest. That's why Carly, I don't think, she was telling me the number was like 4 something.
Right. That's why I'm asking, because when Carly and I were looking, like their rate isn't cheaper. Like I was under the assumption their rate was super cheap, but it's not.
Well, I'm telling you, when I looked at it, when we first started this with Bill, it was about 40% lower than what the
That's what I
market
thought,
rate.
yes.
So I'm not sure she's getting the right numbers or we're doing something right there.
But yeah,
It makes no sense that, because one of their requirements is to go out to public banks
Yeah,
and
to make
see
sure
what
you
it
get
is. Because they don't want to take business away from them, you know, so they're supposed to be, if you can find it at or lower than what their rate is, you're supposed to take that. So that's why I know she said that, but that was, and I'm thinking, no, because the time before, I think when Brian even did it, he gave me a rate that was lower than what Carly's rate was, but yet there was interest rate drops.
yeah. That's, I mean, the most current one I saw, I was like, well, this isn't saving us any money. I was kind of
No,
confused.
well, we gotta look into that.
Okay.
Like I say, someone's gotta actually call our contact person, because that doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
And not everybody, I mean, you look at anybody doing a public building now, they're using these funds. And if they were higher than market rate, no one would be using them. It doesn't make any sense.
Greg Johnson at Ellers we were talking about that with him, and he said the main reason that municipalities use this is because they don't have debt capacity to do GL borrow. Like that's the main thing that like triggers these loans for communities. Not always, but he said that's
Well,
like,
that has not been because I talked to the administrator up in Verona, because I saw their sign do it.
mhm.
And they said, this is it. And then they also ended up getting FEMA for their community room,
Yeah.
because they needed a tornado room. So 75% of that room was paid for. And then USDA, their biggest thing with USDA is you can't get their loan money until you close the project. And they had a problem that the windows were wrong. So they had to wait 6 months for new windows. So they had to stay with the construction loan. And they ended up paying $75,000 more in interest because of that. So that's the danger, that was the one danger, but we can look into that. It seems odd to me that is correct. It doesn't.
Yeah.
But I get your logic about 40 years and people move in 35, but at that age of the building, you were probably paying to replace things. So we're borrowing money to replace a new heating system or a new roof.
Oh, yeah, but you're gonna do that if we get a 20-year loan or not, right? I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference, because yeah, you got maintenance. Like I say, it was originally, when we calculated it, and this is again, going back 3 years when I first took this thing off the shelf and looked at it again. I did the 15,000 square feet, and I looked at what we're gonna do with debt service, and we were able to do it without adding any taxes. Now, of course, the buildings got bigger and we borrowed more, because we had it set where it was 650,000 for 2 years and $1,200,000 for the third year. Now, we went over those, so obviously we used up some of that. And the building's bigger. But we have to look into that USDA, because there's no sense paying more in interest.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, considering we're going through all this red tape with them.
right. And then every year we gotta borrow that, short-term loan to pay the principal. And,
Right.
It's a lot of, it's a
Yeah,
discount.
it's weird, but
Yeah.
again, like I say, Baraboo was just, well, you were there when he
Yeah,
was talking
yes.
about it, and they're doing,
Yes.
both their new fire stations were doing it, and they did Village Hall and stuff. And they also mentioned there was a lot less, and they were able to do it. So I don't know, but when Carly said that, I didn't question, I said, okay, but that doesn't make any, I can't see why it went up with interest rates going down. But anyways, we need to figure it out. But let me ask you, does anybody, oh, you already have the insurance one done, okay, wow, okay.
So we just renewed our insurance. It goes December 1 through November 30th. And so we had questioned the insurance company if we kind of like devalued some of our property, how does that affect our rate? And so they had given us this 0.1038 for every $100 of value, which was helpful because then I could say, okay, if we have the building valued at 7 million, that's what our premium would be for the year.
Oh, I see. Okay, oh, good. All right, and we should be able to, those other ones should be fairly easy to calculate, right? I mean, we're gonna be guessworking, but
I would think mowing shouldn't be terrible because
no. I'm hoping, yeah. we're
back you
hoping
could
these
almost do
things
prairie or
are little.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, but these are just, I was going through and saying, okay, what are we going to add? But it can be a subtraction. So maybe it'll be, maybe it won't be 1,400 a month, maybe it'll only be 500 because or maybe nothing, who knows? But I thought, these are the things that I came up with.
Well, like the telephone system is that.
So I have numbers for that. Currently, we don't pay for our telephone system because this building used to be a telephone company. And so our system is free. It's junk. But we get what we pay for. But going to the new building, there will be an extra, like an upfront cost to like purchase all the equipment and then a monthly fee.
Well, the purchasing, that should be included in.
Right,
our
yeah,
cons-
yeah.
But we need to, for the operating, so couldn't we just use what the library pays per year?
So I have quotes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you take that one then if you have quotes?
I do.
Yeah, you don't have to put them in, necessarily now.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of if people would each take some, then we would be just lighten the load for everybody. And I guess I can take whatever people don't want.
All right. That's
They just, we're gonna
Okay.
put you down for telephone.
So, yeah, like the library doesn't actually have a system there, their system's all in the cloud. They moved away from having like.
right, but they still pay TDS a monthly
Oh, yeah. They definitely.
charge for the cloud service. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What the operating cost would be.
Yeah, so basically, like when they signed up, they had to pay so much for their phones, because they're all like voice over IP phones and all.
Yeah.
We might be able to, I mean, I don't know if TDS have some sort of bundle, if we got like.
So I think TDS's quote was they gave you each phone for a penny, but then I think you pay more per month. Where the other two quotes you paid up front, but then your monthly cost was less. So if you do it over 5 years, I think TDS and wasn't the cheapest.
Yeah, we'd have to look into that. So
Yes, electric and water and sewer.
you'll take those? Okay.
You said water, sewer, gas, and electric?
All right. Dave, you got any?
Oh, then we don't.
I can look, fine.
Okay, you want to you want to do all of them or just the borrowing side?
I'll work all of it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna fight you. So if you're willing to do it, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mowing, is that something you just ask Chad? You can do it now, or, I mean, he doesn't do it there, but I mean.
Is there another, do we know like about how many
Well,
square feet that would be? Or, we could look at.
I don't think we're gonna have, is the current one, we just signed a contract with him. So I don't think we're gonna have more grass than we have at this one, so I think this is gonna be
But
pretty
it is
comfortable.
one thing now. Oh, you mean here? I see what you're saying. You're right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Probably well.
yeah, because I think the only place we really are gonna for sure have grass is from the sidewalk to the parking lot. There'll be some landscaping there, but I would think we would have grass on the terrace and on both sides of it just for the plowing of,
Could be capital money, probably that figure.
yeah, I think it'd be pretty darn close.
I was gonna say, is there another area where we think is similar?
You don't think that it would be similar?
Yeah,
Cause you got this corner here, and you got this whole side here.
the trimming and stuff, it's gonna be, I would think.
Just say the same-ish?
Yeah, I think we'd be pretty darn close. Because we really want to use a lot of natural, especially on the slopes to the east. And then, I don't, again, we'll have to talk. They could go a little bit more if they want us to mow the water retention area, which I think is
I think
silly.
you only need to do that once or twice a year, though. You wanna
Yeah.
do that every week.
No, I agree.
We always do it ourselves, that more than, no, hire Chad and the.
Well, that could be, I think the only reason I speak that is because if you go to the fire station mows everything, but then you go to where the warehouses are, the storage,
Yeah, I think the way back.
they leave it all wild. It's all beautiful flowers, and I'm thinking, why not just do that?
Yeah, I agree.
Are they
Yeah.
filling the gap between the sidewalk and the village hall?
Up to where the drainage is from the fire department.
I'm not gonna.
That's the fifth stall in.
Okay, yeah.
That's where their drain goes, so that'll stay at this point.
Yeah.
But from there up, we plan to fill that because we want to have a sidewalk going to meet the other sidewalk. All right, let's see, well, I'm hoping the mat service totally disappears, so that would be a plus. We'll see, that's how I think.
I have a question, because this is about the gas electric usage. What is the heating, cooling gonna be at the buildings? I think there was some talk about geothermal at one time. Is that happening?
I don't think we can afford that.
I don't think, and I'm not even sure the site's well for it. It'll probably be boilers and then forced air.
Forced air. Okay. Just because I know that was, I don't know, I think I did it as an option or whatever, or look into thing, and then I was going over that winch or what's going on with that. I know I've spoken with a few people out of town, and they've been like, you're gonna think about using geothermal, and they've actually asked me that question.
Yeah. Right now, that is, not on the table because of expense. Now, if the bids come in, we're gonna do solar.
Right, okay. But just because of upfront expense is what you're saying, or?
Yeah. And again, I can't remember the whole discussion on that, but, there was a number of things that I'm not sure about the water table and everything else. I don't know how far down. Okay. So, yeah, so we're not, right now, we're looking at high efficiency boilers and it'll be forced air. Or, I don't know, maybe it's radiant. I don't know. I can't remember.
So the fire station is boilers.
The boilers, you can have forced air or radiant, right? Because at Midtown, we did radiant. Ours is 100% radiant and we have boilers. But I think you can do also forced air with boilers. I have to give you, I don't remember that aspect because right now I'm trying to focus on the finance part.
Well, right. Well, all I'm saying is that, Tim, like, if you're looking at gas electric, and what if it's building gonna be 12,000 square feet, or what you're saying, and 15?
17.
It's only gonna be 17?
Well, you got part of it's, the parking,
Well,
so
Oh, wait, some purpose, what?
parking.
Okay, no, we weren't heating the parking.
Well, yeah, you do.
Oh.
You don't do air conditioning, but you keep it at around 50 degrees.
Need for the police department.
Yeah.
So what's the square footage for the building?
It's 17,000, but I want to say,
What's like, where the people would be, like, not the parking area.
yeah, I'm trying to say that. I think the parking area is about 2,500. So under 1450.
Well, basically, if it sounds like it's that, what's the library? Isn't the library like 12 or something? 12.5?
It doesn't seem like they have a very efficient system.
Well, I mean, we're just kind of.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because I get their bills. How the heck is it that high?
Well, no, I mean,
All the
I
high
actually,
ceilings,
Huh?
all the high ceilings and
it could
windows.
be the highest, but I did a comparison, and I guess I got the gas bill about a month ago, but I like, since the Middleton Library is like in our like temperature zone, like I actually emailed the Middleton Library, like, what do you pay for gas and electric? So they gave me like their last, I want to say year of like usage, like how it went, and we were actually more efficient on the electrical side than the Middleton Library.
Well, they're bigger than us.
But I normalized it for.
Oh, you did?
I asked her how big they were, and Elizabeth told me it's like 12 or 13,000 on ours, so I tried to normalize it for size. And we actually were better in electricity, like in the winter, normally in the summer, they used more, I'm assuming, for air conditioning than we did. I was like, okay, and I got the gas bill probably about a month ago, and I haven't done it on that yet, which would be interesting to see how that goes. But, so like, when they were all like, we were like what you're saying, like they were inefficient, I was like, oh, and I did the electrical comparison to Middleton's, and
Okay.
Middleton's like off the charts. So basically what I was saying is like, I mean, you just take the library bill and add 15% to it, and
Well,
you're gonna get a pretty good, you're gonna get a pretty good estimate.
Well, check on MGD and see if they have formulas to use, or maybe they can provide some of that.
But I'm just making an assumption here. I would think the system we're putting in the new village hall would be much more efficient than what the library, because that's going on 15 years, isn't it?
But they like upgraded their boilers, they have.
Oh, they did already?
I don't know what this $8,000 thing is. Great. I don't know what they did over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I was talking to Elizabeth and she was like saying that they have like variable speed fans for like their roof units, because I think, like what you're saying, I think the boilers send the heated water up there, and then that's how it gets circulated through the air through the library, like it's a forced air thing like that, like there are exchangers. I mean, I don't know exactly how it works, but kind of like, but I think they have some gradient over on the wall under the window, like water, and then the rest of it, I think, comes through an air, so it's kind of like a mixed system.
Yeah, that's.
So like when, if you want to contact MG&E, but I know, I was talking with Elizabeth about it, and she contacted, I gave her our MG&E rep contact information, because she was curious about how efficient it was, and she contacted him, and I think she had a phone call with him, and the guy's like, yeah, you're like pretty much right even, like it wasn't like he was like, no, you're like super off the top, but we had that solar guy out there, and he was like, your electric bill's so high, but then MG, it's like, it's not that big, and looking at Middleton, I was like, I mean,
I would think focus on energy would give you your best bet.
yeah,
Because they would be able to know what boilers are doing and what's needed.
yeah, but, this might give you a square footage for a commercial building and be like, this is how much electric and gas costs, but I can always email you, like she's gonna send me the MGD bill, I can send you a copy of the library's MGD bill if you want me to.
Well, I think what we're trying to do is establish a ballpark figure to say, here's what our mill rate, we gotta figure out where we're gonna make all this up, right?
Well, what we're looking at is, whenever we build a new building, especially this one that's larger, there's gonna be ongoing operating costs. Everybody worries about the capital part, but we gotta also look at the operating. So we want some idea. It doesn't have to be to the dollar, but if we know, hey, when we get into this building, we're gonna need to have a 20,000 push to cover the increase in operating costs. Now, like I say, we're doing this. Now I'm hoping on the other end, we're gonna be able to slice things off. So when we get a calculation, figure out how many solar panels and what they can produce, we can subtract that, right? That's kind of what we're looking at. And if we design the outside to be where we don't have to mow anything, let's say, well, then we can eliminate that. But right now, at this point, we got to at least have the board start seeing what operating costs could be. It's not an exact science. We're not going to know that until you get the construction documents done. You send it over to an energy audit person, and they look at this and tell you how much it should use. But we need to start thinking about that. And some of this, like insurance is really good. I mean, that, again, they're just, it's estimates.
It's gonna come there.
Yeah, it's estimate. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't expect you guys to get in there because we don't know what furnace we're gonna get. We don't know how many tubings are gonna be needed.
But I think when the fire station went on board, the gas and electric was like 16,000 in the budget. Everybody fell off the chair and saw that number. And obviously it came down, but it was a budget number based
Right.
on somebody's
Yeah.
assumption.
Yeah, and that's the best we can do. So that's what we're looking to do here.
And then the health and wellness program for the village community the employees can mow the lawn, you know.
I like going on.
Yeah, you know, like you say, but can you bring that list back up? Does anybody see anything else that we should be looking at that you think?
I was gonna bring this up in the end about future topics, but when I look at our, doesn't seem like a whole lot, but we have all year, comes at our phone. So we got all these, not all, but we have the number of cell phones. We have a number of phone lines that come in with data TDS. We have cable and TV from, Spectra and to Shop or another place. Can we just have a phone line in there, or then the phone companies will actually do studies on your lines to see if you're missing calls or how much downtime? I mean, I just think we have a lot of extra, well, how much stuff is done on a cell phone today versus a phone.
Right, okay, talking about that, that brings up a good point. What you're gonna get an advantage if you go with the phone in the cloud system, which they aren't getting at the library because they're locked into like using the South Central internet. At the library, there's actually two internet lines coming in. One that they pay the South Central library system because they're in charge of their IT, which means they manage the computers inside and all that. But when they went to their phone in the cloud system, TDS ran a separate internet fiber optic cable to the library. So the library actually has, that fiber optic cable is just supporting their phones. I was talking to Pam, I'm like, there is no way you can convince South Central to let you use this fiber optic line that you aren't using any of the bandwidth on, because there are two internet connections there. But she didn't want to do it, or it was too whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But it's a topic for our next meeting.
Yeah,
Well, it could be, yeah, we could look into that. But what I'm saying on this chart, when you say cable internet for 4620 and you say telephone service for 5100, if you do a TDS in the cloud thing, that line that your phone is on is going to function as your internet also.
Right.
So
So
you can lose one of those costs probably.
currently we have them in different companies
Right.
in case one goes out. Cause if Charter goes out, we still have, your telephone goes out, you still have internet.
One.
If our internet goes out, our phones still work. So that's why we have them separate now. But if it's a cloud thing, maybe that would matter.
Aspect and also, how much work does cell phones do for us that are desk phones, so. And maybe it's not, maybe you guys rely totally on your.
Well, so myself and Renee and Becky, we aren't on cell phones.
Right.
When people call the village office, they're
Landline.
calling them landline.
The shop,
But
The shop, nobody calls the shop.
or you have a home line, I mean, if you look at all the phones. And some.
I think there's more because of their fax machine, maybe.
well, that and again, you want to be able to dial 911. And, if someone's got to have access to a phone. I mean, I don't,
Elevator will need a phone, and
huh?
so the elevator will need a phone line. And some people need some phone lines.
Again,
But yeah, hopefully we
I
can create
think
some.
some of them, even though they don't get used, like who calls the shop? If someone's having a heart attack at the shop, now maybe everybody has cell phones, I don't know, but we should supply some way of them getting, and we don't give all our employees cell phones, so.
how
Huh?
many employees do we have?
I don't know, 25,
On a regular basis, Monday through Friday?
yeah. We got 7 for just the police.
Well, but then, I don't know about that, I'm saying,
Well, no, they're not on, but you gotta give you either give someone a cell phone or you don't.
right.
You don't
I'm saying we should look at our cell phones, because I think everybody, you see 4 for, parks and 2 for water, 2 for sewer, there's 8 phones, I mean, I don't think we should waste time doing it here, we should look at it and come.
Yeah.
I'm totally wrong, but it just seems like all those public works employees probably have a cell phone now.
They do, yep.
And so that
Okay.
may,
Well, like I say, I wasn't aware of that, just considering we were just approved the village administrator for having a phone.
maybe pay for one for, their mother's bill for the cell phone.
Well, she hadn't been getting it.
It's in the- You'd be paying for it, right? You list your,
She has the same phone that Bill Chang had, that Brian had.
I'm just saying, if you look.
Oh, you just got it? But she was asking about it, and I said, yeah, you shouldn't be using your personal phone. And she says, well, I don't like carrying two phones. So I thought we were
Well,
just,
she is currently carrying 2 phones.
now, okay, but, so that phone's been here. She
It's been here, yeah.
didn't choose to carry it.
Must be, I don't-
Okay,
You pull up on the bills for this month.
Yeah.
And look under AT&T, you'll see a list
Yep.
administrator,
Mhm.
Cooper Parks and Rec, and list them by.
okay. I'm going, okay. Well, we can certainly put that on to do an inventory of the phones that we have and see if there's savings. I mean, I'm not opposed, because that was the first thing I did when I got budget for the Madison Police Department, and I got rid of 26 phone lines. I mean, we were paying for a phone. We had, our first neighborhood officer had like a little fishing shanty on State Street, and it had a phone. Well, we got rid of that like 8 years ago, and we were paying for it for the whole 8 years. And the same thing at First Street, Glenway Golf Course. That used to be where cops went and called in their reports, but we went to computers. Yeah, and 26 of them. Some of them, no one even knew what they worked for. So it's not a bad idea. I don't have a problem with that. But let's go back. So right now, cleaning, would that be hard to just send the current people and say, hey, if we went to this size building, what's an estimate for,
I could, yeah.
might as well,
Just
just get it.
make a difference on what they're cleaning, or maybe not that far along, or is it gonna be carpet tiles if you have a vacuum, or we're talking
We're
ceramic?
doing a combination.
Okay, so I mean.
And there's some that'll be just, actually quite a bit's just plain concrete. If you look at square foot, kind of like what the fire department did. All right, Bobby, why don't you put there, and I can do, I'm trying to think what's there. Oh, there's really not much left, is there? What is that? Cable, internet?
The only thing without, what'd you say, the Wi-Fi out in the garage?
Yeah, we definitely need Wi-Fi.
So it would be a little bit higher, but I don't think it'd be terribly higher. Do you, cable and internet?
Well, yeah, that was my, going back to like what you said about this building, you have a phone line, you have an internet line, but you don't have redundant internet. You just have one internet connection,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Okay.
Well, they have a different line.
They have a different phone.
The police is
Yeah, but I
different.
think their phone line is phones, right? So they're going through the internet.
Well, I don't think, their phone system's sold, I don't think that it's, I think
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
proper.
You think they're separate phone lines?
I mean, it's
No,
some
no.
sort of system, but I don't know.
I don't think you even can have those anymore.
You actually physically have something in the basement though.
Yeah, yep.
Team,
Yep.
right? Yeah. So it's not like a cloud-based system.
No.
No, not cloud. I think they're running IP. I think they're going through, who's your phone carrier?
TDS.
TDS. I
It
think-
charters the internet.
Yeah, I think they're going, their TDS the same as mine, which is the same as my internet and my cable TV. It's all on the fiber optic line together.
But they don't have fiber optic TDS line.
No, our internet's through charter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that. You're splitting it, but what I'm saying is, I don't think they're on copper wire.
I absolutely think they are. I think it's that whole.
Well,
I absolutely.
You know what the fire did? The fire just upgraded theirs.
yeah, I think they just redid something, but I think there's, either it's the cloud or one, or IT.
I don't know.
Like City of Manson when the internet goes down, your phone goes down.
Right, whereas here.
But they use in two different companies, but I think if,
I don't think they have a fiber line here on their phone.
well, I don't know what they have. I don't know.
So what does charter provide for you here?
Internet and cable. Yeah.
So cable TV and internet access. So if that line gets severed, you don't have, let's say, construction accident, cuts it, you don't have internet here anymore. So you're
Correct.
still, your phone's still
So
working.
phone still work, yeah.
I think what you're saying, they're hardwired yet.
Yeah.
Through TDS.
Yeah. Well, I was just kind of curious, like what you had, whereas, like if you go to an in the cloud thing, the new building could just have like what you got your phone, one TDS fiber line. That's
Right.
Everything.
Because the flip of that is if somebody severs your TDS line. you
Our
have a
internet
phone,
will still work, yeah.
Right?
Right, if the phones don't work, yeah, we can still go on our Facebook and say, hey, our phones are out.
Right. So a little work, yeah, it's gonna need some.
Yeah, we'll just have to cut, and it really doesn't matter, because we're not gonna use the same system. The question is, what's the increased cost to go into that system? Yeah, and I guess we could just go and check with the library, because they got that.
And so what's the problem with the library, you're having two lines here, and they're paying two?
Well, yeah, they're paying double for two internet connections, the interconnect connection that the South Central Library System, because they give like a big chunk of money to Southwest Library System every year. And they basically say, this is for the internet connection to your library. This is for every, I don't know how many years, 5 years, we'll replace this computer.
Right.
And then they handle like the updates on the computer. So the library doesn't need an IT staff at all. Like it's all handled by them. So when they went to the TDS phone system, TDS installed a separate fiber line, and that is just for the phones.
Okay.
Is what I'm,
Whose line is, I know what it does, it services the Southwest Library, but whose line is that? Is that Charter or TDS or?
the other one, that I never got that far with Pam, who,
So that, I see that's where we're,
it's some other company that Southwest contracts with to provide internet there. Now, it could just be I don't know.
I didn't find that out, because you just have to.
Was that your bill that you were just,
No, that was
I mean,
these are the quotes we got.
no, but that's where.
because I saw it was a digital phone line.
Yeah,
And
these
that's
are,
not
the idea, is you
no,
have-
these are the quotes we got for,
What's where it got into, you have to convince South Central to jumper their internet onto the TDS line, and for some reason, want to
So
do that.
you've got the bids,
If you get what I'm
right?
saying.
So
Yeah.
the phone, the
I don't
cable,
know
internet's all
what
one,
internet
right? Your bids.
coming in.
This is just telephone.
Oh, just, so you could just fill that in.
To their-
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm like, it's just an
I got
internet.
And then,
Like, you can,
yeah,
you know, we
the
could.
cable that you have, cable and internet.
Put your little.
we would duplicate the same thing, we're not adding anything. What's the cost of bringing it in?
Go.
And the service,
Exactly.
we don't care how many,
Whether or not
how many TVs you operate or
so we
anything.
can just assume they're probably about the same.
Yeah,
Do that for now.
Yeah, okay.
and then, you know, IT support,
I mean, it couldn't happen, but.
that would probably be,
they're saying,
Yeah.
the only difference that they would have a camera system that would guard access.
We want full control of our own thing. I understand.
Tony, maybe get that for number Tony.
Yeah, but I just don't, like I say, we've run it, it's rare to use
It
it.
was just weird.
It's more replacing them when they wear.
So there's not like a monthly support cost or a
Oh, no.
support
It's not
fee?
what's provided.
All right, we'll put that at 0.
Yeah,
This one's like 2.5 times.
Matt, yeah, I would agree with that on both sides.
What's
I
provided.
don't want
I thought you
to.
were just like recurring monthly.
Yeah, that's what I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I am.
Okay.
I'm talking about IT support, whatever we pay now, I think would be very similar. Because we're not really adding any computers. Are we?
okay, so yeah, then we really wouldn't even need it on here unless we think it's gonna be the same.
Well, let's just keep it in case I'm wrong on that.
Okay,
It's not like I have,
right?
yeah, and I'm not a computer person, so who the hell knows what all this other stuff might be. It might be because we're gonna have a fire system, right?
So are those annual costs, monthly costs?
annual.
And,
Mhm.
We still got fire system?
you know, now they have it where it's monitored, you have to have it monitored, and it's gotta go somewhere, and so I'm sure there's a cost to that. I found that out at Midtown. You can't just have a fire alarm system.
Yeah, you can tie it to your, yeah.
Yeah,
Can't do that, and it's not on there, sorry.
I'll put that all under IT. Everything's,
All right, so Jay, you're doing,
yeah, I'll try to figure out the IT piece. And I
I'm
can
happy
call-
to take anything that hasn't been taken.
I heard you, Jed.
What did he say?
He said he can sign up for something too if there's anything.
Oh,
Wow,
well, ask him if he wants to do the IT stuff.
Okay.
okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Jay, we're-
I mean, the guy that knows the least about it was trying to get dollars.
So, is there a, sprinkler system in that building?
I'm pretty sure there will be. I can't imagine that.
There's costs for that.
I mean, that's like yearly, like if somebody has to come in and make sure.
Maintenance.
There's an annual one. Yeah, they have that.
Once a year?
Yeah. If there's fire extinguishers, they gotta go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. That's not, I don't, that one I don't, but.
We have a couple more, but it's not, I mean, different.
You always just make it.
Or extinguisher.
Yeah, I'm worried about that. That one we can handle. I just didn't, I don't remember ever anybody coming and checking our sprinkler system. It can't be yearly.
I think they do it yearly at the
I
library.
do it the fire, they do it the EMS. You have, there's backflow preventers. Some of them, they're all gotta be checked by like a plumbing company and sign off. And then they send this report to the state that you've done it, and then when they fail to do it, the.
Interesting. So the city must do that and I'm not even aware of it.
Probably,
So it's all in the mechanical room?
yeah, probably.
I was gonna say with our apartments, we've got we have quarterly requirements to do sprinkler inspections and,
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would just, it's probably in the library. I've seen it, I don't know where it is, but it's in.
Justin fires here, they do, that's probably a similar.
Fire alarm.
Interesting. Okay.
The garage is what this people do all that. I mean, look at the price from him. See
It's a
what they pay
quarter.
for fire.
So library pays $100 a quarter, it looks like.
Is it
Yeah, it looks like it.
There must, I bet you there's an annual one somewhere in there too that they. 'Cause there's certain things you can quarterly, and some stuff they only, like with our, because we use firstborn and fast, we use.
Okay.
Looks like they didn't do one in the third
Uh,
quarter.
St. John's. And same, they all have the same thing where it's. At least with our apartments, couple $100 every quarter, then it might be $500 once a year where they do. Like annual back those, that's not annual.
Oh, okay, well, that's, and we don't have sprinklers here, so that would be an added cost in that. Add that to the list then.
Anything related to security,
Well, we're gonna have,
police department being in there.
yeah, we're gonna have hard access and well, Ted's got that part of it. But, generally there's not, again, I'm speaking, I've never seen anybody, they're all up on your computer and stuff, so the only thing we've ever done is replace the reader. Cause it's hardwired in and you just swipe in something by it, you know.
There's no
So,
software.
yeah, there must be software involved, right?
So I mean, it says it, you just punch in your code, we only paid, we bought the software, computers there, all look good, and there's no.
Yeah,
There's no recurring cost.
yeah, that's my thought too, you know, and then you call them if there's a problem, so it's on time and material. And then, you know, cameras last maybe 5 to 7, but maybe the cameras are now lasting longer, I don't know.
That wouldn't be,
No, exactly.
So, Dave, you said you were gonna look at the debt service side of it and like use the information, it was like in these charts, these tables in there, you can look at that stuff. That was in the
The
packet,
Allers,
the other stuff, yeah, I did look at that.
and that was 2025 to 2028.
Yeah, I didn't have a 27 in there, but you might wanna add that to the thing, like, we're gonna probably borrow something in 27, right? I mean, that,
Yeah.
they didn't estimate anything in that one.
I didn't look at it that close. They don't have a list from all the way down on what our debt service will be going if nothing changes.
Well, they did.
Okay.
Up until, but like in the tax And the one analysis, like the 28 actually is like, I think the pool building is what it is, but
Oh.
they didn't say we were doing any
Yeah, they don't have any.
borrow in 27.
Yeah, don't go that, we're focusing just on this. Yeah, we can't.
And this building is, I mean, on that chart, it's estimating that
6 million.
Yeah, I have
6.5.
7 million for,
Yeah.
5 million and 2 million.
7 million, yeah.
Yeah, so this is 6.5 because
Yeah.
we already paid for all the architect fees essentially, so
They
it's,
use 6.495 in their analysis, colors did it. And that's only 20 years, that's only 20-year payoff on the.
right, they did it if we did geo borrowing.
Right.
Yeah, just to see what it would look like.
Yeah, I'm with that. The 7, I think we gotta be solid 7.
For 2025?
Well, just for, yeah, if you wanna, I mean, I don't know if we'll be borrowing in 2025 or not, but that's the number. I would go to 7 million for the project and work our magic with that. Cause we may be able to do half in 2025, half in 2026.
Right.
The bottom line is, it's all gonna come out 7 million at the end.
Right, yeah, we're not gonna incur 6.5 million next year. It'd be spread out over the year and a half probably, or.
Now, it looks like in the geo stuff where the others did, they have fixed amount of principal every year. I mean, I'm
They don't know.
not working, when we talk about the USDA and then market rate, are we talking about fixed monthly payments?
The USDA will be fixed. Yep,
So a fixed payment.
yep.
Fixed payment. Everything.
Or is it like?
It's an annual payment,
Or fixed, it'll be a fixed payment. off
Yes.
every-
annual, January or whatever.
Rather than a fixed principal plus interest, like the. others
So-
and the geo stuff they use.
Ellers, Taylor's, however we
It's
want.
more fun. This thing looks like it's more fun.
Yes,
Just basically paying out so much for the principal of the bonds every year.
yep.
Yeah, they alter that stuff to like.
Right, get our
Yeah.
fees. I mean, we got
So we can-
stuff in some of our
And that's,
financing too.
and I'm not always in favor of that. They try to do it so it stays like this last borrowing, we're paying a ton for the first payment, like 125,000, which is mostly all interest.
Mhm.
And then it starts going into payments and stuff. I don't know if they do that because we get a better rate or I've never been a fan of that, but I'm not an expert, so I can't, but I just saw that again when I was signing all those papers. We have a huge balloon the first year, I think it was 125,000.
Well,
And then,
right.
They try to layer it in.
Yeah, but
right, I know but the layering in usually is the interest first and the principal at the end. And I know that's how most,
Well, what they're trying to do is keep our total of all of our payments the same every year.
yeah, I know.
it isn't just interest, it's just whatever interest has accrued, but there's a substantial principal with that balloon payment up front that decreases it over the next 9 years because you haven't borrowed, because you don't have that principal anymore. I mean, definitely, that's what they did there. That's why they front loaded that, because it was dropping. They wanted to keep it. That was when I said I sort of wanted it to be higher. I wanted to front load more off that first year at that one meeting, so that the subsequent payments would have been less. Because we could have handled it in there.
So for our purposes, for our assumption, I'm assuming fixed annual payment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fine. Yep, that's fine.
Correct.
Yep,
Not,
yeah.
okay.
and then
And there's,
that'll give us an idea. And if, once we, Ellers, if they want to change that at some point, to do it, fine, but let's just get numbers that everybody can understand.
and I think that there's an error on our existing geo deck that I wanted to let you know. But could you just go up a page in the,
There it
I
is.
think in the thing? Yeah, you see there how, this is what I wanted to ask you, I don't know if it's an error or not, but the 2023 revenue debt levy supported, see how they put you put the 73,000 in there on 2025? Which is what we put into our debt. Doesn't that recur for the next 20 years? It isn't going down that whole column. Isn't that right? That goes down the whole way, right? And it might even be more because of the other, right? There's one that isn't in there.
This is a discussion we gotta have, the board has to talk about.
Okay, that's why I was wondering, it was only 1 year. I was like, why isn't this all of them?
You know the answer, but it's a board thing?
Well, the,
If, what are you?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out too. Cause it's gonna make, is it gonna make a difference?
No.
$73,000 in debt service and it's every year. No, I'm more concerned about the debt service and something.
yes, I mean, this is a totally different conversation.
No, I'm not doing the whole thing, I'm just.
Right.
You're just figuring out what that's.
What's that, okay, what's the cost of
This
this
is a
building?
conversation not for this meeting. It's a,
The revenue debt thing?
Yeah.
Conversation for this meeting? Okay.
right,
Well, what meeting it should be at?
I'll talk to you first.
Okay.
Carly.
Alright.
I forgot about it till you just mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta talk to you about that.
Alright,
Okay. Cause that's what I was asking about when I was trying to figure out how you got to our levy borrowing this year, because I was like, oh, then that was the 2023.
Because Ellers didn't have that number on their thing at all.
Right, exactly, and that's when I was like, oh, you have to add the, when you sent me your spreadsheet, you were adding that in there, and then you even like had added like 15 more thousand, because there's still.
We didn't know what the final payment will be next year.
Right, exactly, on that, and then, so, okay, that's why it was,
alright, so we'll look at it and decide where it goes.
whoever that deals with or whoever that happens with, everything.
Okay,
That was the one that I saw, and I was like, why is that just 1 year, like?
Cause Ellers, the short answer is Ellers doesn't want the levy paying for the 2023 revenue.
Doesn't want the levy
The
and,
debt, yeah, they don't want that revenue debt to be paid by the levy. They want it all on the user fees.
they want it all on the water sewage.
Was the short answer.
alright, well, we'll talk about it.
Okay, so, but we're able to put some on there because some of that project we could say was for
Yeah.
street repaving, and
Yep.
that's why, but they
Yes.
want the utilities to pay for all that. Okay, so it's just
Alright,
us figuring out, the board figuring out what we want to do.
The TID,
Okay,
this is maybe not one question or asking here, but so when the TID is retired, is there more of a way of revenue that comes in that's accounted for?
well, not unaccounted for, revenue that was being used to pay for the debts of the TID now will come to the village.
And then if we then ends up at some point, I mean, can we,
The TID?
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna try to close that as soon as possible.
Because if we kept it open an extra year, then all that revenue be put towards that service or? not?
Sure, you could do that, but the thing is, you gotta understand, we don't get all that money, we get 37%. So the question is, do you wanna use that as a big savings account? And build and then take it out and you can then do a lump sum into something else? Or do you take it, as soon as you close, you close it right away, then you take that and use it as providing services, and you can still use it to pay off debt, but you get the revenue right away instead of saving it in an account. So there's different theories on that, Middleton at one time, they were closing right away to get the revenue to come in. Now Madison, they have that one TID that's right up by where the city county building is, Martin Luther King and that way. That's making so much money, they use that to give money for kids to borrow against other kids. So that's their bank. Again, I don't know how that's legal, but that's what they do. And that's why Martin Luther King Street gets redone every 2-3 years, because it's got a whole load of money. And they just won't close that one.
What the taxes on buildings that are right here?
Yeah, I know. It's,
We've got two buildings right up near there.
yeah.
These days.
Well, it's not gonna affect you so much. It doesn't change. It's just where that tax is
Right, no, I
going.
mean,
And that's the same thing. Do you want the taxes to stay in the TID to build a savings account, or do you want it so you can use it for your day-to-day? Yeah. And that's a decision that the board will make. Well, and that group, it's really the joint review that you gotta get them permission, but usually they'll go along with whoever is managing it.
Well, one of the selling points, so I can put it once it closes, that you're gonna lower our tax.
Yep, and it should happen.
That, yeah.
You know, but in this day and age, it also is where you don't have to go to referendum.
Right.
Right.
No, right.
Yeah, so you're right.
It's not like 20 years.
Yeah, because when if you remember when Middleton closed, the TID that has Kiva in it, that all those buildings, if you want, our property taxes went down $200 just from that being closed. Yeah, so you're right. There's the thing. All right, we're getting off the subject. Anything else with the village? If you can make sure you have that stuff for us on the 4th, I think the 6th we meet.
Yeah,
Right? The 6th, January 6th, I think is our January meeting.
it'll be the 8th.
No, isn't the board meeting's the 13th? So it'd be
Right.
so it'd be the 6th. The week from the 6th is the 13th.
Yeah,
So Monday.
we meet on Wednesdays.
Oh, that's right. You're right, the 8th.
Yeah.
We are not meeting on the 1st.
You're right, it's the 8th. Oh, man, that's cold. Yeah, it's yeah.
Or if we.
I have time to Bob, get them to Bob.
The day before the special. Your special.
No,
No,
the
that's-
special meeting would be the Wednesday before. Our special meeting's a Monday.
Oh, okay.
And it's only for updating the board on this. So it'd be just a matter of putting a slide or two together with the finance. But this way everybody would kind of get a look at it. And like I say, we're looking at a ballpark. It doesn't have to be exact. We're just trying to get it so it gets the idea that, hey, there's these costs to this that we need to start thinking about. All right, so then nothing else on that. So number 4, discussion and possible action regarding street sign costs, saving initiative. This one's yours, bud.
Oh, yeah. Well, all I did was just write up something about possibly about how the village wants to approach things based upon what I found with in terms of differential costing. And I wrote them up as like option. I mean, I didn't delve into like, I guess I could have put in here like what the costs were, but down below, I sort of had that structure. Or had it talked about when I talked about how you build different street signs and how things are expensed. So with that being said, based upon our discussion from last time, I mean, what were people's thoughts last time on poles or black or square or the hardware that attaches to the top of the pole, whether or not that should be black? I mean, did we want to continue with the idea of, just the black poles throughout the village? And like with what that cost is, or where other costs could come, or savings could come in. Like ways that you can still continue to do the black poles, but with certain things that people wouldn't notice, like the square black poles, right? I mean, obviously, rather than putting 2 on an intersection, if you put 1, based upon the estimated cost, I mean, you can save $200 right there and still have a black square. Now, granted, you aren't getting down to the cost of a round steel galvanized unpainted pole, right? But there are other ways that money can be saved. Like right now, I believe that the anchor piece that's 3 feet long, that with the square poles that they put in the ground, if you go and look at them, they look like they're painted black. And I'm like, why are you painting them black if you're just driving them into the ground? Like they could be the unpainted anchor that's being driven into the ground. Like there's no need to pay for the coating, like the painting of that. So, and I could write up how much that saving is, but it was down here, like you could actually save money on it. Other pieces are just kind of like, it'd be interesting to see like what he borrowed on the new tap code. I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at that before. I didn't know it was in the packet. But at the top of the pole, there's, what's it called? It's called the end cap. It taps the lower street's sign name to the pole. It's basically a piece that goes on. It can either be 12 inches, like the street signs however long, it can be 12 inches long or 5 inches. traditionally, if you walk around the village, a lot of times we've only used 5-inch ones, because it gets put in and then 2 Allen screws get screwed on, and then that's how that attaches, which is how Jerry was talking about at the corner of Molenbeek and Airport, like, they got stolen. He made the illusion that the pole got stolen, but the pole's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
All they did was they just came and unscrewed the top. If you notice, there hasn't been street signs at that intersection for like 3 months or 2 months. Like, the top thing just got taken, but the pole was always there. They just came and unscrewed and just took the
Yeah, I
sign.
thought I would call
Yeah, but the pole was still there. He made it sound like they stole the pole, and I was like, pole never left. But the cross piece that's up there, he's been ordering the 12-inch ones, which are longer than the 5.5. Maybe it's because, you know, it's using the 9-inch signs and it provides more stability. I don't know. But traditionally you walk around all the other poles, they're all just been the 5.5-inch ones, but they were all supporting 6-inch poles or 6-inch signs. But what happens is when you go through and you look at a 12, or you go look at the bracket top, that's a 12-inch extruded, and you have a black, based upon just even the quotes that I got from the Tapco guy, because I didn't even ask the other adapter companies if they were, but looking at that, you even go to the website, if you get a, oh, it is. Oh, but this is from the quote that he gave me. Because I went out on the website and did a bunch of stuff. From the quote that he gave me, if you buy a 12-inch black end cap thing that the first street sign looks into, he quoted me at like $66.50. And if you just go with that being raw, which would just be like aluminum covered, it drops it to $37.60. So it's $30 savings just because you don't have that piece with the sign.
Yeah.
And then the same thing goes for what's called the cross piece, which holds the two. If you, get that, if you get it, if you want that, and I'm just doing 12-inch ones here. I mean, if you go to the 12-inch one black is $56, the 12-inch one raw is $25. So you save $30 there just on that piece. Now, do you want those black or not? Do you want it looking nice?
Well, I'm looking at the picture. I'm kind of I don't think the black or the raw to me makes much difference. So here's where I'm coming, just from what you're saying. I agree 100%. The thing that you pound into the ground doesn't have to be black. It could be whatever color is the cheapest. Right, I agree. Okay, let's go with the square poles. I'm just throwing this out to be consistent. Right? So then from everything above there, I don't care if it's stainless or aluminum or gray or whatever, because you're attaching signs to it. And I agree that we should be able to put, where it's legal, put the signs on top of where the stop sign is.
Right.
The same pole. I don't think we need 2 poles. So that's kind of where I'm going. Now, we got a warning from the county and the state. We can't do that on county roads that highway.
Yeah.
We can't. So.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Oh, yeah, it got sent out to a lot of people.
Or maybe,
So they were very clear on signs, traffic signs, you cannot put anything else on.
right. I'll send it over to you and see if she.
Yeah.
It's got to notice that when you drive through town and of rural areas, yeah, the stop signs and the road name signs are separate.
Yeah.
It's on, yeah.
On the highway.
Yeah, I'm just saying, so people, but inside the city, I'm fine. I hear what Jerry was saying about the wind and stuff, but we're not out in the plains or anything like that, so. But now, the size of signs, I want to say the larger version, because that to me is a safety issue. I want EMS and fire and police to easily be able to see the names of the streets and be able to go. So I don't want to shrink that. But to what you're saying on that other stuff, I'm very open to. And that to me seems like we would have considerable savings in what we're doing. by just doing that, right?
So what are you saying, the square post, what do you square, the square post black or?
Yeah, black. I would do, because we're doing so many of them, that, you know, I hear what you're saying in the neighborhoods, you could go with, I saw the one green, or you could go the silver color and stuff, but we've kind of started with the black. I don't mind spending a little thing for the pole because that's what's visible, but when it comes to the attachment of the signs and what's buried in the ground, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know if you're really gonna notice.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, like, do you want to spend an extra, $60?
We don't do that either. The fact that a new subdivision comes in, Chuck's subdivision came in, all that stuff was covered by the developer, right?
Yes.
Right.
So we're only talking about replacement.
Right, but you want to be consistent.
Right, you do, I know, the overall scope of this project is important that we can save a lot of money, but the other part is we don't pay for it up front. It's a rarity that we have to replace one, right? I mean,
Yeah,
because on the green side, I mean, there's a few Davison up there, Love Drive has not been replaced, still the old black and white signs. It's a mixed match, but I think down the end of the street here, you're gonna see everybody have a green sign that's not that big cost to the village. Not right now, because it's already paid, it's already in place, right?
right, no, right. I hear what you're saying, but I think we still want policy.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're doing the same thing, the developers, so so the developers now, what we would do is the black square, we don't care what you sink down there. The top can be the gray and everything, so yeah, consistent all the way around. Agreed.
I mean, yeah, we just haven't been doing the gray on the top.
Right.
I think about the, stop sign coming out of our neighborhood that's still on the wooden pole that's bent like this.
Yeah.
It's been there since. we
Yeah.
moved there, you know.
And those are and that's where the replacements would come in, that wood one would be replaced with the,
That's been that way for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's-
yeah, but it would be this. Right, but those are the things that we would be replacing. You know,
I think that could actually make the street signs on green pole too.
I haven't painted one, right?
yeah, I don't, I can't even, see, that's the thing.
I think it might be a green pole yet, that's on this street sign, it's on the opposite corner.
Oh, that could be. All right,
Who's cheaper than capital?
For certain things, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, you can, I don't think I got a raw cost from Tahoe for the anchor.
but can you
I don't know.
put what we've talked about here into a short memo and then talk about the cost fee? And that's what we would then bring to the board, and then we develop a policy after that.
I definitely can. I mean, it would be taking what this is, Jay wants the 9 inch, how do you guys feel about 9 or 6 inch signs?
I like the larger sign.
Yeah.
All right.
You're all voted.
Up to the board.
Yeah, well, you can. Pretty sure I'm gonna convince them, when it comes to getting to you in an emergency, no one's gonna wanna go cheap.
Well,
And someone who's been in that, and I know you ride your bike and stuff, but he's done it. If you don't know a neighborhood, you're assuming everybody knows these addresses. You are looking at the streets for it, and I know the computers and stuff help you out, but you go look down where mine at, where St. Francis goes this way, Creekside goes this way. I don't know how many times people go this way and they can't find Creeks Way because their GPS says it should be right here and they're seeing St. Francis.
okay, well, I mean.
Yeah, so,
More than, they're all, another building, they're like, we don't care then.
well, that's their thing. They don't have people that are.
At the end of the day, what are we saving? $100 a sign?
I don't know, that's what I'm.
And I don't know, if you've been to Plain, they put up new little signs, and you cannot see them unless you actually stop and look at them. Because they're brown with white, and they're about this big. And it's just impossible to read.
Well, right after the reconstruction.
Yeah. Yeah, because I go to Straka Meat, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, how does anybody see this when you're, and that's during the day.
It'll be interesting to see if they change them, like if people complain and they.
Yeah, really. So,
And Beeson and, Springfield Road, you know, there's two signs for that. There's the original down almost by that duplex, and then there's the ones about 10 feet in the air on the other side of the street.
well, there's a wrong sign at Dennis and Springfield. It says Airport Road.
Right.
And then you go to the next street, it says Dennis again. So there's a Airport Road, and I don't know if they did that because people on P, you know, to get to airport, they have that, because that part of, it's really strange because you know, airport starts at the curb and then it's Dennis, but then there's another.
Airport starts in the township, that's the, so that airport road is, we do not have an airport road in the village of Russ.
It's a curb, but why
We put it, that's all they put up there was Springfield
I'm gonna
and
find you.
Dennis, and then we said, that's Dennis, if we're looking for Dennis for an emergency call, so they put another pole across the street, and
We
it
got one.
says Dennis.
So it says both airport and Dennis, there's two.
Yeah, the original pole said airport, no, it said,
Dennis it must, because airport is a big green and white one. And it's right at the corner of Springfield and Dennis, which is really odd.
I think they would put an arrow on
Yeah,
airport road or something.
again, it's not in the village, so
Right.
it's in the township. You'll never find an airport road in the village.
Right.
Oh, I'm calling you out right there. I looked it up.
Is it?
Lou Dunlop. 3220 Airport Road.
oh, the very last house. Yeah, the house on the hill, right there. It's right, because the airport road, if you look when the town did it, where they ended the road, there's one of our houses right there.
Okay.
Yeah, we have like an outlier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right in the village,
no,
before you leave, there's one, yeah, right before you leave the village.
no, that guy complains about the water.
Yeah. The one on, oh.
No, that's not even a house there, isn't it? This one right here.
No, there's a house right there. There's a house that's right there.
That's Jack Shelby. He's the town of Berry.
We're getting way off on a tangent.
He complains about the drainage all the time.
But even though the slack line goes around it, he's in the town of Berry.
What? House is more here.
He's on the north side of the airport.
It's really close to the end. That's all I know. That was the one.
Yeah.
I guess if you go.
Maybe.
Is it in the town of, is it in Cross Plains or is it in the town?
It's
Yeah, it's on that. That's in.
Yeah, you want to cross, but it's,
What's his dad?
3220 Airport Road.
Okay.
but that's Dunlop.
Yeah.
Is that what you, I thought it was a different.
That's from.
Street in the south, you go across the street.
What's
This
the
one?
guy's name?
That's Venice.
Next one, the next one over. Is that who it is?
No,
I think Jack Shelby.
It's 33.
But what municipality?
not Town of Berry.
Not the county, right? Okay.
Huh. So you're right, it is on that side. I thought it was that last house right there that they were talking about.
We have one airport road.
Well, but you can see where people.
Yeah,
All right, let's get this meeting wrapped up.
yeah. I agree.
I have one more question concerning this, because really, before we were talking about stop signs and the street name signs with the black square poles. My other question is how do you want to approach poles that aren't those? Meaning, because then I started thinking about, I'm like, wow, we have like all these speed limit signs around here, right? And even just other signage that they'll put up, like over by the junior high, when they say there's no parking on one side during school hours, right? And I think that those poles were also done on the black square pole.
No, the one in front of my house is a C one,
It's like a U channel.
U channel, whatever, yeah.
Right, but that's part of but what I'm saying is that those black square poles to like hold up a speed limit sign or to hold up a no parking, that could be like,
A cheaper pole.
yes, that is like, the ones that he ordered in August at $25 are like $200, whereas if you went to these U channel poles can be like $60 or $70 versus a.
Put that in your proposal. Like, there's one in my front yard, it's 25-mile-an-hour one. It's a U channel.
Right.
And it's just pounded into the ground at my corner.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right, so that was kind of like, I was like, do we have to use the square
Put that
one
in the proposal. I'm
with like one-off things, like with like a no parking this time, and it's going to be like a, you know, however big it is, a 5.5 foot. I'm like, we have to use a $200. I mean,
Or
or
just pound something in and they can slap it on. As
because
long as it's black.
right,
There's
that's
no one's gonna tell if it's square.
right. Yeah, if it's a black U channel, like well, right, well, that was where I was like,
And you look at the one on Loftenberg, they put a vine plant, so the whole vine is covering the sign and the pole. Did you notice that when you come on St. Francis, make a right, the house that's set way back, they have vines going right up the speed limit sign. Yeah, it's
that way.
oh, I have not seen that. Yeah.
I bet they didn't get a permit.
All other signs will have the U-shaped black posts.
Well, like the ones that aren't,
Is there, like on the Mill Creek Parkway, those are all U-shaped sign as well. Posts.
yeah, see, like down there could just be a $60-70 U channel. Parking
Yes, they are now.
this side, yeah, like you don't have to use,
Put it in your proposal.
you know, I mean, and to be quite honest with you, you could go to U channels even for the stop sign, street name sign ones, like I know, but this is where I was just kind of, because I was kind of curious about that, and I was like, could you on a U channel actually put like street name signs on there? And last night I went down at the end of my street, there is one on the U channel thing, it goes up U channel, there's this piece that goes in and the two holes up there, and you screw through it, and it's that cross piece, and you just put you know what I'm saying, like you.
Yeah, no, but I'd rather go with a more heavy duty one for those.
Well, yeah, that's what I would hope the square ones are more heavy duty, but those U channel ones are.
We would establish the standards for the developers and for the village with the square. Now we start throwing all these ifs and buts and that.
Well, right,
But I think I agree with the single traffic sign of speeding or no parking can be on a U channel sign.
Because in theory, if somebody runs over a square channel pole with a car, we should go after them with insurance and have them pay that or replace.
Oh, absolutely.
well, and that was also something that like the guy from Tapco was like trying to talk to me about like with the square channel ones with the anchors, if a car hits it, it's going to break away, like.
Yeah, it's supposed to, that's the design of them.
Right, but if somebody nails a U channel, it isn't breaking, it's just a whole piece of iron that's gonna fall, like, it's gonna get.
I think they're gonna crush those.
Well,
They don't have I don't think they're as strong as the square ones.
the U channel ones, see, I don't know, I didn't.
I think I could bend mine pretty easy.
Well, yeah, if you went out there like, yeah, well, that's.
But I'm saying, the car's gonna do the same
But
thing.
you wouldn't be able to do that with a.
No,
I don't know if you could or not, I mean, it's just
I
the,
mean, yeah.
where,
well, it should be stronger because it's all connected. That should be stronger than just basically a piece of metal like this.
well, right, well,
that's,
I don't know, I mean, I haven't done any.
logic would say that it would be stronger because each side is supporting reinforcing the other one.
Yeah, no, I get it, because it's.
But a C channel, you don't have it, it's just a strip one.
Right. So that's kind of where I was at with this, and, so like, figure it out.
Yeah, why don't, and everybody, you guys comfortable with it going to board then?
I think so.
Yeah, we get that past board and then it goes to policy. We'll get someone to write a policy.
All right, and you get that new tap with. How many pieces of cost? Well, that's what's weird is that like with this Tapco bill that Jerry just ordered for the replacement of some of the stuff, I mean, it was $1,400. I was like, that's what I did. I was like, how do you get to $1,400, ordering this stuff? And that's kind of where I'm gonna be curious about, like, if you order.
Well, some of those he has extra. Remember, he said he's got some extra. Because he's got 2-3 extra poles sitting in the shop.
Well, you can't get any, because you keep it on command.
Right. Yeah.
I understand, but that's why I'm just like, this is $1,400 in signage. I'm just like, I don't know how much
Yeah,
I don't know what you order.
we don't want to get too much into the day-to-day operations. I think what we want to do is say, hey, this is our policy. And these are some areas that we can make some savings and not lose the quality, you know.
Well, that's what I want to see, like what this cost, well, that's what I wanted to actually see what this year's bill was for what they're doing this stuff. Yeah, you just have to send it to me. I can't read it.
We bought street signs for Esser, Lewis, Sunset Airport, Fallenbeck, American Legion, Misty Mountain, and 5 stop signs. That's what we bought.
You have to send them.
Airport road, no airport road on there.
Maybe that's the sign that's up there. 'Cause
That's the sign at Mullen that he's replacing.
yeah, I
He
don't
didn't
know.
put Venice on there. He put airport. That's the replacement for that sign.
Oh, you think
Yeah,
so?
because underneath it is Mullen. That's the replacement for that corner.
We gotta,
That's weird.
I'm gonna give them a call and see what the logic is there, because
But those costs are those hundreds of dollars? Is that? I mean,
Here,
$10, 116, 140.
the longer ones are, you know,
yeah, see, that's where the 9-inch ones start to get expensive.
But
That's what I'm saying.
we're doing it one time. I mean, you're looking at the creek side way one. That's been sitting there for 30, 40 years. Take that, if you're talking about pennies.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the question I asked. If like the cost that maybe about a year's supply of poles or something like that, that spread out over
10 years,
10
yeah.
years, whatever.
Right.
Like,
But the only thing we're changing is, is the, right now, what they're burying in the ground and what they're holding the signs with. And then going to a lesser one for the 25. So I'm not,
I'd be more worried about proper sign, for airport road on that Fallenbeck sign. And we have Mazel coming in or somebody coming in and they come to this intersection, they say, I thought we're on Venice, we're on airport. That's not right. I mean,
no, I gotta call them and figure out, because I noticed that right away. And it said airport at Springfield or
Springfield, yeah.
you know, and I'm thinking, oh, that's not right. So then my thought is, well, maybe he's just trying to tell people to get to airport,
Right.
turn in there.
Or put the air on it or.
But then when you go down, because then the rest of them had Dennis on.
Yeah.
So they're labeled, right? That's the only airport one I saw.
If you
And I walked all the way down, and I'm thinking,
look across the
I
street,
thought this was Dennis.
look across the street though, you'll see a sign that says Venice.
Oh, you will, huh?
Because when
I
we
guess
said
I-
this wrong, he ended up putting one across the street and a new pole that says Venice.
it just, right? It doesn't have a Springfield on it. No, there's just a separate one that says
It's
Venice.
just Venice.
Oh, interesting.
So
I
I
don't
don't see
know
doing
the
the other.
about that.
Put the Venice on that one and airport on that one.
Or put it like way there, it says two airport road.
Yeah.
I'm not really, it's interesting.
I have a screen sign that says two airport road, attention,
It's
at the low two hundred. I've seen it.
If that's the reason.
If that's the reason, and I've seen it up north.
Yeah.
Where it's Canton, where there's a road that goes up and it says, in order to get to this other road, follow this one.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Are there any future agenda?
Yeah, we'll just, we'll do a phone audit, just put phone audit on there.
Right.
All right, motion to adjourn, second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed, say so move. Thank you. Now, this was a little bit longer, but we got. What's that?
Down here.
Yeah.